Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gordon. I'm a Senior Technical Support Scientist here at LI-COR, and today we're going to talk about making and loading a configuration onto your LI-600N. So the things you're going to need are your LI-600N, your computer with the LI-600-600N software downloaded, which is free and it's available for Windows and Mac on our website, your USB cable to connect your instrument to your computer, and any applicable dongles to make your computer talk to that USB cable. I have a USB-C connection here. This is USB-A, so I have a converter. So when we open the LI-600N software that we've downloaded for free from the LI-COR website from both Windows or Mac, we come to this main screen, and you can see that it has the software version, the bundled firmware version, and I can choose whether I'm working with an LI-600N or an LI-600. It says no LI-600 detected because I don't currently have one attached, so I'm going to make my configuration and then upload it to my instrument later. I'm going to go over here to LI-600N and click on that. And that brings me into LI-600N offline mode. So I have configuration management, data management, a barcode generator, and the connection overview. I want to go to configuration management, so I click here. And I would like to make some new configurations. You can see that there are some configurations already on my instrument, so I'm going to make one more. And I'm going to name this configuration Survey. Author is EG, fluorometer, and leaf angle. I want both of those pieces of information. Now I'm going to go to my data labels, and I can get to my data labels either by pressing this or by just clicking there. Prompt on log is a way to have my instrument ask me questions about what's happening with my instrument. So for example, if I would like to add details about species, or treatment number, or pot number, something like that, those data labels can be added. So I will go ahead and I will name this treatment. And I'll make this a barcode, meaning that the barcode reader will activate as soon as I select it. My next data label, I will make species. And I'd like that to be a list. So I have 3 choices I can add to my list, and I will do corn, soybean, and sunflower. You can see that I can have up to 15 characters in each of these fields. And the last one I will do is leaf number. And that's a number that I want to auto increment, meaning that every time I press the log button, it goes to the next one. There's no auto mode in the LI-600N. If you're familiar with the LI-600 auto mode, that's not an option here. So we'll go ahead and set our presets to medium, meaning that we have to have a slope limit of less than 0.1 and a stability limit for fluorescence of less than 1. I could also set them to fast, meaning a slope limit of less than 0.5 and 5, or I can do custom, meaning that I want a different stability limit and I want a longer period of time or something like that. But let's set them to medium, which is the default. That's pretty good. We have a way to add remarks. Remarks are an indicator that something should be looked at more carefully about the last measurement. Maybe you accidentally chose the wrong leaf number in your data labels, or the leaf was pulled off the plant, or something like that. It doesn't tell you what's wrong with the data. It just says, hey, take a look at this a little bit closer. Here we have our flow rate, and we also have our option to be prompted to edit our leaf area or our leaf width. Leaf width is the one that's more common because that allows us to tell the instrument what our leaf width is, and it will calculate the leaf area for us. So we're going to have 2 sets of prompts in the LI-600N. We're going to have our data labels, and we're also going to have our leaf width prompts. Since we are not necessarily always using the maximum amount of leaf area the LI-600N could have in the chamber, we do need to have that option to tell us and add that to our data file. If we do, it'll automatically calculate things for us. If we don't, then we'll go back and calculate later. Match frequency is either 10 to 30 minutes. By default, it's at 10, and that's a pretty good number. If you're working with needles, we do want to match, or narrow leaves, we do want to match a little bit more often just to make sure, because the leaf areas are usually a bit smaller. For flash parameters, let's say that we're doing a light adapted multi-phase flash. And so we're going to choose these flash intensities. These are the defaults, and they're still pretty good. The same thing for our leaf absorptance and our fraction absorbed by PS2. These are defaults based on a lot of scientific literature, and they're pretty good. You don't necessarily need to change them. Finally, we can go to the display layout, and I would like to look at 5PS2. So I'm going to tap on that bottom box, change it to 5PS2. Here, I'd like to look at my slopes, because that tells me when it's safe to log. And so I'm going to do that. There we go. So fluorescent slope, GSW, 5PS2, also leak percentage, light, and leaf temperature. All of these things give me information about how good my measurements are going to be. When I go to preview, you can see that I've got all the information of how my screen is going to look. And if I go to data labels, the same thing here. I can see how that's going to look. And if I don't necessarily want that to look different, then I could go back to data labels and I could change that. But all of these things look good, so I'm going to go ahead and save my configuration. And now I'd like to upload a configuration. So I'm going to go to my home screen and I'm going to turn on my LI-600. It says instrument now connected, so I'll go to connection overview. I'll choose explore, configuration management, and I will upload to the instrument. I'll choose this one. And I have created a configuration and then uploaded to my instrument. I can now safely eject my instrument and I can go take my measurements. So you can see that it's very easy to create a configuration for your LI-600 or 600N, and it's very easy to load it to the instrument. Once you have your configuration created and loaded, you're ready to go, and we hope you enjoy your measurements. If you have any questions or concerns, contact LI-COR.